Hi everybody and welcome back to another Copilot video. One of the things that Copilot is really good at is comparing and contrasting information. So whether that's producing summary information or combing through large portions of information and giving an analysis on those things. What I'm going to do in this video is take a handful of CVs, I'll do this in a couple of batches, and compare it against a job criteria and job description. And the goal here is to produce an output in a form of a table that scores those candidates against those criterias, provides me some analysis as to why, and the goal here is to help me use that information to determine which of the candidates I want to take forward for a formal interview. So let's get stuck in and see how it performs. So what I'm doing here is writing my prompt. So I've got the candidate CVs I'm going to review, so my first batch, and I've got the job requirements document. So I've got these in separate files which I'm going to feed into Copilot. So I'm giving Copilot the information that I require. You can see them appearing at the bottom of the list here. I've then got to put the prompt together, which is where I'm going to describe to Copilot who it is, its role, so it's a recruiter, and what it is that I want it to do. So I'm asking it to review the candidate CVs, I'm asking it to take the job specification document, review those together, and then give me an explanation and score each of the candidates against that score out of a total of 18 points, and then to put the results into a table. So let's get started with the prompt and see what happens. So as Copilot runs through, it's going to pull through the information, it should review all of those documents, and it should start to produce an output. Now it does that really quickly. If you see the time there that's elapsed, this is in real time. It's taking Copilot less than 30 seconds to undertake this task. It would take me that long to open a Word document and open the CVs, never know, actually start compiling the information. So what it's doing here is it's actually going through each of the criteria and it's scoring them against those key aspects, which is a great start. And then what it's going to do as it gets to the end of that is it's going to complete the second part of that task. So it's been quite creative with the output so far. It's given a good summary of the overall scoring, and you can see clearly how it has scored each of those candidates. And now it's producing the table just like I've asked it to do, with a score against each of those and a total score, which you can see matches the one above. And then it's given me that kind of summary at the end, which is a really nice way of presenting that information. It's exactly what I've asked it to do. I could have done this from Word. I find it's a lot easier to do this within the Copilot chat system. And I can of course now take that information, I can copy it, I can paste it, I can take it out. You'll see the citations against all the content, which gives me the ability to go back and reference that content. But I think this is a really nice output for me. What I'm going to do here is ask Copilot just to double check to make sure it's happy with the response. Now, why am I doing that? Well, just like a human, you may give a piece of work to do and you may review your work and check it and ensure you're happy with that. I'm asking Copilot to do the same thing. Now, I don't expect it to deviate from what it said, but it's a level of doing a recheck on that content. Now, in a real life example, I would potentially expect a human to check this as well, at least a couple of them, to make sure that Copilot is not being biased in any way. But I find it's just good to treat it in this kind of way. So I've asked it to recheck, check it's happy with the recommendations, and let's see what it comes back with. So it's done that for me. It's told me it's still happy with the scoring. It's confirmed the scores that were there before, and it thinks it's a great answer. So I think that's a really nice answer. I'm happy with that. Let's see what else Copilot's got up its sleeve. So here I'm going to run the same prompt again. Now what I've done is reset the chat, left it a couple of minutes, and I'm trying again. So I've got a different set of CVs, I've got the same job description, and I've got exactly the same prompt. So I've just pasted this prompt directly back into the chat as it was before. And I'm going to run this through to see whether I get the same results, same format of results I got before. And what you'll notice is it has given me a response. Again, it's really, really quick. The response is, I would say, far less verbose this time. It's given me a score in line in the table, against each person and given me a description as to why that is within the table, and then given me an overall summary at the end. Now, that's different to what it produced last time, probably because I reset the chat. Copilot does respond differently. It's like asking a different person. I'm going to ask it again if it's happy with the results, because I tend to do that as a bit of a check. I have occasionally had it when it's come back and questioned something or asked me why it doesn't think I think it's right. But this is again an example of an iterative prompt or follow-on prompt from the previous result. So I'm going to ask it to go back through, check the prompt, and add the total score for me into the table. So it's a little bit more consistent with what I had in the first attempt that I tried. Let's see how it does with that. So again, it's running through. It's not really told me whether it's happy or not, but it's just told me here's the scoring. So there we go. I'm assuming that's assuming it's okay. It's told me it thinks it's good. It has added the score to the table. So it's now kind of taken the explanation out. It's got a hang of what I want it to do. It's gone through and scored. And when we talk about those iterative prompts, then I can continue with that. So I've got a refined response. I'm now going to ask it to write me an email to any candidate that I can use that have obtained a score that I don't think is high enough, that I can use to send to them to tell them why they weren't successful in getting through to the next interview stage, for example. So I want it to be empathetic. I want it to be a nice email. Let's see what it comes up with. So interestingly, it's looking for a template to see whether it can use one. It didn't find one. So it's created one for me. Now, it's not really what I asked it to do, but I quite like what it's doing here. So it's written me, which looks actually quite generic. So it's a generic job refusal application, refusal email that I can now use. So, and it's put the gaps in here for me to add and insert those things. So this is pretty generic. I could use this for multiple things, but what I want Copilot to do is to use the actual job description that I gave it. So again, I'm being a little bit more prescriptive. I haven't got to rewrite the prompts. I can simply just ask it again and say, look, actually make this more relevant to the role. And I'm going to give it the job description again, just so that it's really clear. It's a bit like waving a piece of paper under its nose to see what it comes up with. So I can see it's now picked up the job description and it's picked up the job role. So it's a very similar kind of response, but it is definitely more in line with the role. It's pulling out the things that we're looking for as an organization, and I think this is a much nicer response. So there we go. This is Copilot in Microsoft 365 reviewing CVs. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel get more traction, and it will give me more enthusiasm to create more of these things. Hope you find it useful. Thank you very much. Goodbye.